Hello, hello. This is the micron pen and brush pens. Okay, this is a number, a point, an '05, a micron '05. I love this pen. It makes me so happy. I love it because I'm gonna just doodle a simple little flower, and I'm not really thinking, and I don't have anything in mind, but I like it. I can get all my little dots in. You see my little dots? Yep. And then and I'm gonna draw like a, I don't know, a 7 leaf-ish daisy, Cosmo sort of thing. We'll see how far I get. That one's a little bit short, but that's okay because I'll make the other one a little bit. I'll counteract that. Sometimes I like to move my paper around, but this is just so fluid and I can just doodle all I want with these pens, and so that's a fun way to play with pens. Other ways that I like to doodle with this, and I recommend if you don't doodle, I think you will find a very new a newfound love for doodles. Anyways, I kind of like that. I think the all right, so that's a way to use micron pens. Let me show you some of the ways that I like to doodle that you'll see in my class. For when I'm doing stems, I will often start with this and then do my little flower, but I don't want to just, I'm sketching with this pen. I'm not drawing, I'm sketching and doodling at the same time. So there's my stem, maybe this is my leaf, and maybe it's too loose for you, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be. And then maybe I'm double doodling up here to give it more of a contrast, and maybe this poor little flower is about done. I got some done flowers in my garden. they are not lasting very much in the sun, but that's okay. I still love them and I think they're pretty. So something very loose, very sketchy. I think this works very well for brush shows, and I think this would be really fun. Now what I would do with this is maybe I would continue that same weird leaf shape, and I know that that's weird. I do have some flowers that look like this leaf, and that's where I'm drawing that from my imagination. But something like that. I mean, just keep it loose and fluid. Don't keep your pen on the paper as much. Use your whole arm, and you'll have fun. What I like to do, if I'm not able to start just drawing a flower, what I like to do is sometimes I will, with a pencil, I cut. What I like to do to play with micron, to get to this point, I like to doodle. And what I often will do is I'll just do lines like this. I'll have pages full of just lines where I'm kind of using my, it's just an exercise. And then when I get, like, if I want to do stems, I'll just make a whole bunch of different stems and I'll see which one I like. And maybe I don't like any of those, so maybe I do really like my stem to be thick, and so I want to have little lines that look like a sketch, right? The other thing that I like to do is, again, you know, I like leaves, so what I'll do is I'll just, I call it double doodle. And I actually got this idea from Pam Garrison, and she's like a professional doodler, and I've taken a couple of her classes, and she's like, oh yeah, no, I double doodle all the time. And so basically you're making a leaf, or it could be a heart even for that matter. And then you're double doodling on top of that same line, but you're not tracing it. So you're just kind of you're just kind of going back with that same line just to give it more of that sketchy look. And it also works great when you're like, oh, I think I want my leaf to be like this, and you're like, oh, I don't really like that. So then you can go back in and just make it look like it was meant to be like that heart. Anyways, you don't want it to be the same. And sometimes if I don't like my lines, I'll go back and do it a third time. But double doodling is my favorite. And I go in and I'll go out and I'll just make thicker, though it's shaped bigger or smaller depending on my mood. And there's no rhyme or reason, but to give you an example, again, we'll go with the leaves like we did with the Sumi ink. And I always like to make an X, and sometimes I'll even make another one just to give it some variety. But again, I'm just double doodling. There's my shape, there's my second shape, here's one shape, there's my next shape. And there's no wrong way to do it. This is very therapeutic. I love doing this when I am trying to de-stress or whatever. Now this is not a very great composition, but you're getting the idea of how this is working. And I think that if I played around with it longer, I could have a pretty nice composition. In fact, this is reminding me of sage, and so sage will often have little flowers growing. So I'll just double doodle some flowers, and who knows, maybe I'll add some of that green and yellow. So, and then I also know that the flowers get bigger as it gets closer to the leaves. And again, I don't want to so it's a fun way to add to your sketching library, your skills and know-how. And I think I'm gonna have another one poking out here. I can't ever stop with just one. I always have to have a couple. And I know rules of design is use threes, so maybe I would. And this way, this is just, you're moving your arm, you're moving your wrist around, and really getting some extras. I think I am gonna pop that one right here. Do one more. And I always, if I start to doodle and then I decide that, oh, I think I like this composition and I think I'm going to make it into something else, I'm going to. Okay, so that's really how we use a micron pen. There's lots of other ways. Micron pens are great for doodling. I buy about 8 micron pens every 6 months because I like to doodle and I like to draw, and I like how these are waterproof, archival, and they just write so nicely. There's really not another product out here that's better for doodling than a micron pen. So if you don't have a micron pen, definitely get one. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Dick Blick, Cheap Joe's art store. Any art place will have micron pens. Happy doodling! Have fun!